Let's talk about the Indian team and the match that's got everybody's heart and mind sort of invested in. India and England will take on each other today for a place in the final. But this blockbuster match is in big jeopardy. Will it be a washout? The forecast says there will be heavy rain and possible thunderstorm as well. Jamie Alter is giving you everything, including the weather report.
India versus England in the second semi-final of the ongoing T20 World Cup later tonight in Guyana. It's a cracker of a contest because we all know what happened the previous time that India and England, Rohit Sharma's team versus Joss Butler's team, met in the semi-final of a T20 World Cup. It was back in 2022 and India was smashed by 10 wickets by England, who then went on to win that trophy in Australia to make it double World Cup champions. At the time, they were holders of the One-Day World Cup and then also the T20 World Cup. But maybe many fans will say all that does not matter because the Indian team we've seen in the West Indies is playing with a lot more aggressive intent. The batsmen are going harder at the ball. We're seeing more fours and sixes struck by India than we saw 2 years ago in that edition of the 2020 World Cup. Also, the biggest factor to my mind is that Jasprit Bumrah is in peak form. Bumrah, let me remind you, was not there in the 2022 World Cup. So all in all, it's looking like a much tougher Indian team. An unbeaten team, let me add, as compared to England, who've had a washout and some very, very narrow defeats to get into the Final Four. Before we get into match analysis and SWOT analysis, let's also discuss the rain. I can tell you very, very honestly that I've been tracking the Met Department website very, very closely for the last 48 hours, and we're looking at about a 65 to 68% chance of rain in Guyana. Unlike the first semi-final being played today, there is no reserve day in place for India versus England. The ICC has decided, because of the proximity of the matches, the close context of these matches, that there is no reserve day, but the ICC will extend this second semi-final by 250 minutes if required, if it rains, in order to get the stipulated 10 overs that constitute a semi-final. If, however, there is no match, not a ball is bowled, and we get a washout, India will be the team that will go through to the semi-finals by virtue of having topped their group. So yes, if there's no match, do not worry, Indian fans. India will still go through to the semi-final and play one of Afghanistan or South Africa on the 29th of June in Barbados. But let's hope that we get a full game and there's no rain. Now, coming to the tactics of this Indian team, they are unbeaten and we've seen them play a much more aggressive brand of cricket than we saw 2 years ago in that 2022 edition of the T20 World Cup. We saw Rohit Sharma 2 days ago score a ballistic 92 of 41 balls to stun Australia. That is the kind of batting depth India have, and that's the kind of batting that India are going to need if they want to win this T20 World Cup. You bat like that, all guns blazing, taking risks against England, I have no doubt that India can make the final. And then, be it Afghanistan, be it South Africa, whoever India face, all they need to do is keep batting with that aggressive intent, because what aggression does is it puts fear in the hearts of the opponents. In 2022, unfortunately, India's campaign is remembered for feeble, conservative batting, not enough risks. But we've seen even Virat Kohli, who doesn't have the volume of runs that anyone expected, very, very poor returns, he's been batting with a bit of aggression. We've seen Rishabh Pant bat with aggression. We've seen Suryakumar Yadav bat with aggression. We've seen Hardik Pandya bat with aggression. Yes, that risky approach has not resulted in 50s, too many 50s or big scores, but collectively what that new found aggressive intent from India has done is put them in much better situations than we saw 2 years ago in the World Cup to win matches. And that, allied with the discipline, the devastating form of Jasprit Bumrah, how hard is that man to hit the Yorkers, the pace? In every over, every 6 balls, he's bowling you 4 nearly unplayable deliveries. That is the genius of Jasprit Bumrah, and that's why I feel India hold the advantage going into this cracker of a semi-final against England later tonight.